Hello everyone, how you going? And welcome back to something a little bit different today. Now, as you can see, we're checking out 11 things not to do in Australia, and I just want to know what these people think you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, and just everything in between. So let's just see what they've got and just, I don't know, generally just check it out. So
Australia
here we go.
is many
We're
things.
staring down the barrel of a crocodile right now, but here we go. As you just said, we're definitely many things, but let's just see what this I can only assume American has to think about us.
And no, I'm not just talking about Australians.
Hey, what the hell? Hey, no, I can't let that slide. What the hell? That was a little bit of a sneaky jab right there. I want to take that back and listen to what he really says. I'm sure it wasn't met with malice, but you gotta be a little bit careful with that one.
Creatures on the planet.
Here we
go. I'm not just talking about Australia.
Yeah.
The little
you
over 8.5
you could get away with something like that.
The little over 8.5 million people visiting each year. Tourism is
that's a lot of people.
Part of Australia's
currently
economy.
not really,
That being
considering
said,
no one seems to be able to travel anywhere. We can't go out and no one can come in. But I guess generally speaking, when was this made actually? In 2019, yeah, I can certainly understand why it would have been considered a decent chunk. Like, really, that's a third of the entire population visiting every year. So yeah, it is definitely going to be a massive chunk. Look at that harbour. Actually, that is one thing. Look at that. I want to know, these kind of battleships, I don't know if you'd really call them a battleship, but I'm going to call them a battleship. They just sit, at least one or two of them, just in the harbour at all time. And so I want to know, is this a thing that other countries do as well? Like, obviously, we have the major Sydney harbour as a kind of main arterial waterway of the entire country. And so I want to know, do other countries just kind of park their massive battleships just in their main kind of port, or whatever you want to be calling it? I would feel like not, but I mean, obviously this is the main port, but I just feel as though I've never seen another city just kind of parking its major naval vessels just in the main city or the main harbour like this. But anyway, let's just see what he's really got to say.
Number
I keep
one,
pausing it too much.
Don't stray
don't stray from the path. I mean, really, that might be a little bit of an exaggeration. We did have plenty of footpaths
in the world, by the way.
It's important
to know where you are at all times.
I mean, I can't exactly imagine too many tourists just straying majorly away from any major city, or even if they do, you know, you go out to the Alice Springs, out to Uluru, then I guess you're kind of going to be in the middle of nowhere in a way, but you're still kind of around other people because it is a tourist attraction. Well, and also considering the fact that this bit of raw footage is just showing the zoo, I feel as though that gives you a little bit of an idea of what it really is talking about here. Like, yeah, most things that people are going to be seeing if they're tourists are just going to be in zoos, and you're definitely going to be fine there. I mean, I guess to be fair, he certainly is not exaggerating when he says there's no shortage of them, but I feel as though, like I said, you're not just going to kind of encounter them generally. Oh, here we go, we're getting into the signs. I've heard about this before. Look at this, we've got so many random signs all over the place. You might see just wallabies or wombats or kangaroos. Maybe it's going to be wombats or kangaroos in the outback. But I guess as we are seeing here, we have no shortage of signs whatsoever. And so yeah, let me just keep pausing it too much, like I was saying.
Don't underestimate the cost. Australia is known for having one of the highest living costs in the world. And traveling there is no different.
I mean, look, I am certainly not going to try and deny that fact because it is 100% true, but it also depends on which country you're coming from. You know, if you're coming from the US with the exchange rate, you're actually going to be having I don't know, I guess you could call it a fairly equivalent rate, but if you're coming from other countries, then maybe it'll be like, wow, this is a very, very expensive place. And so I guess it's a matter of a perspective and also the exchange rate at the time.
Now, all in all, if you're really trying to save money, you can get it down to around 100 Australian dollars per day. And I'll just throw that number out there as an average. But between transportation, food, lodging, the prices can get a bit expensive. So it's important that you price out your trip accordingly.
Yeah, I guess to be fair, but really you should be doing that whenever you go anywhere. Like, I mean, sometimes you might not have to worry about it because you go, everything's going to be costing like 2 cents.
And this is a short
other
one.
things
Don't say
okay,
shrimp
it's going
on
to
the
be a little bit more expensive. Okay, no, this one is absolutely true. How dare you? That word should not exist, like, or it doesn't exist in the English or the Australian English dictionary. Here we go. Let me just see what this guy has to say. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Paul Hogan. Oh man. I mean, I guess he certainly just kind of ruined the entire thing. I mean, I can only imagine you're paying a lot of money for it, but man, did it kind of just ruin the entire word or sentence.
If they would even use that phrase at all, they would say prawn, not shrimp.
Yep, there we go. There it is. But I have to pause it again and clarify. If you are coming from overseas and you say that word, I mean, I guess we'll probably know what you mean, but you are certainly just not using the correct term. As they said, or as he said, the prawn is the major or the kind of conjunction. I don't even know what the right word is. It's the same word, but just different word, if that makes any sense. It means the same thing. You're going to get the same animal for the most part, but the word shrimp just get rid of that. This doesn't exist in the entire vernacular, the entire vocabulary. What are we going to have for number 3? Bring it on. Look at that harbour bridge. Isn't it magnificent? The harbour's stunning as well. Oh, hang on a second. I didn't even realise we're up to number 4 already. Okay,
this
we'll
one,
run it back. Here we go. Okay, drinking in Australia. Yep, here we go. He's always
don't quote me on the rest of the country. I mean,
here we go.
Which means no one is allowed in or out of bars, past that point in time.
Yeah,
and their last call
true,
is at 3
more so
in the
in some places.
And of course,
in particular,
don't drink and try and drive. 0.05.
Yeah, of course. There we go. Like as he said, I mean, I guess that should kind of be the thing anywhere in the world. You shouldn't be drinking, driving. Some cultures might be a little more open to it, but I feel as though generally for everyone's safety, everyone should be kind of avoiding the fact or avoiding drinking and driving. But no, exactly as he said, there is some legislations, and especially in some areas in particular, it is kind of more policed, if nothing else. But there is definitely some areas that you can't come in and out. You can't order things after certain times, and I don't really know, or I don't have any experience anywhere else in the world, but I feel as though we are probably a little bit more strict than a lot of countries. As he said, you know, you can't get this, you can't do that after certain hours, and so yeah, the entire thing is just a little bit more police than you might find in other countries.
And last but not least, don't order Foster's beer.
Oh,
that's
there
not an
we
Australian
go.
Thing.
No,
That's an
don't
American
get
thing.
that one. Everyone,
Instead,
you just
try and
hear
order
it
a
all
bottle
the
of
time, but I
Bundaberg.
don't feel as though
My Aussie
anyone has
friends
ever
know
drunk
why.
that, or even I don't think it ever even exists in this country. And don't drink that one either.
Number 5. Don't
Number
underestimate
5,
its size.
here we go. Don't
Australia is a
underestimate
country
the
with
size.
about
I mean, yeah, I've heard
25
about
million
this. Yep,
people.
25
And
million
because
people.
it's a
Virtually no
continent,
one
it's made
in
up
the
of almost
grand scheme of all those
7.6
countries.
million square
Yep,
kilometers.
look at that. That is
Despite
a
the fact
big,
that the
whopping,
majority of
great
its
country right
population
there,
is
but there's
clustered
virtually
around
no
the
one here.
coast
That's why
in
everyone
urban
loves it.
areas.
It's great.
It still means that as a tourist, it's going to take a long time to get from place to place.
Yep, that
so it's
is very,
important to
very
take a look
true.
at exactly how long it's going to take you to complete your itinerary.
Yep, especially because you can't exactly go anywhere in terms of long distances. You know, we don't have like a Shinkansen like Japan does or anything like that. I mean, I guess similar to America and other countries, so these big countries, generally you just have to fly anywhere. So if you're going from Sydney to Melbourne or Sydney to Perth or anywhere in between, you're definitely going to be flying everywhere. And I mean, that certainly should not discourage you from exploring the entire place. Like I said, it's massive, so it actually encompasses a lot of different things, but at the same time, you should definitely keep it in the back of your mind, you know, or, you know, just keep it in a general realm that you're not just going to be walking from one side of the country to the other in a day. Here we go, number 6.
Now,
don't always tip. I mean, I feel as though no one in this
in
country has
Australia.
ever
And
tipped.
that's
Maybe
mainly
if you go
because
to a
their
super
minimum
high-end
wage
restaurant,
is the
it's kind of like a
highest in the
thing.
world. At
Wow,
around
wait, hang on a
$18
second. I
per
want to
six.
turn that back. Wait,
Don't
what the hell
always
did he just say?
tip.
Don't
Now,
always
unlike
tip
some
like I just
countries,
said.
tipping isn't required in Australia, and that's mainly because their minimum
Is it?
wage is the highest
Minimum wage is the highest in the world. I did not know that. I guess you learn something new every day. I mean, I certainly would have kind of assumed that it would have been up in the top 10, up in the top 5, but you know, we're always kind of competing with the Scandinavian countries in terms of living standards and all those kind of things, and so I just assumed, I don't know, we're never really number 1, and so I don't know, it's surprising to me that we aren't number 1, but I guess we'll take it.
Now, in places
Here
like
we
the
go,
US,
look at that.
wait staff require tips to earn a living
Yep,
wage.
I mean, I
Because
don't
the
understand
national
how that is even a
wage
thing,
is
but hey, I guess it
$7.25
would
an
look
hour.
more than
Now,
like,
if
that's
you
nearly
have great
triple here.
service,
That is great.
for
I mean,
sure
I
you
guess
should
with the
tip
exchange rate
first.
is about
All I'm saying
twice.
is you won't be
yeah, exactly like you
scorned
just
like
said.
in
There
the
is
US
no
if
way
you
they
don't.
would ever be scorned, looked down upon, because really, I have never heard of anyone,
7.
maybe outside of a fancy restaurant, or maybe, I guess, inside a fancy restaurant you would tip, but outside of a fancy restaurant, I've never heard of anyone giving a tip, or it doesn't exist, really. People just want to, they pay enough for the meal as is, and everyone gets paid enough, so it's not really a thing. Just really keep your money, because no one's going to be looking down upon you, I'd say, unless you really want to, of course. Number
Don't
7, what
rely
are we
on
going to have?
public
Don't rely
transport.
on public
Now,
transport.
because
I mean, I
Australia
guess
is
it's a
so
little
big
bit of a
and so
50-50
spread
in
out,
some
public
ways.
transport is difficult to find outside major cities.
Okay, yeah, I'm
You know, it's
glad
not
that
like
he said
Europe
what I
where
was
you
going
can
to
take
say.
a train to a small town, hop off, and then hop onto
No,
another
that doesn't
train to
really
another
exist. I
small
mean,
town.
you could
Australia's just
technically do it in some ways. It's not going to be the cheapest thing in the world for the kind of quality that you're paying or what they're kind of receiving, but in the same ways, you could technically go out to Bathurst if you really wanted to via train. People do it, but I would certainly not recommend it. You might as well drive in the same amount of time, and all the hassle of everything. Like, no one's going to be going that far on a train these days.
Hop
Yeah, exactly.
off,
Like, if
hop
people
onto
are coming
another
from
train to
Europe, I
another
can understand
small
why they
town.
might be in that
Australia's
mindset. But
just
like I
too
said
big for
before,
that
you
to
know,
be
it's too.
feasible.
Yeah, well, there we go.
So you're better off
Exactly as
finding
he
other
just said.
ways to
It's
get
just
around.
too big for many things like that to be working very well. Number
Talk
8
about
already.
immigration.
Don't
Now,
talk
forgive
about
me if I have to
immigration.
generalize
Okay,
a
this
bit
is
in
little
order to
bit
get the
weird,
point
but
across.
okay, let me just listen to
But
what
for
he
the
has to
most part,
say.
many Australians dislike the way that the government handles immigration.
I mean,
whether
that's
they're
definitely can be true.
anti-immigration or whether they're disgusted by the way the government handles
Yep,
refugees.
I mean, I guess that's.
Of
I feel
course,
so.
there's all
Surely
the
that's
people-
with every country in the world. I mean, maybe not every country, but surely, like, to some degree, every country, if it's democracy, doesn't really agree in this regard and doesn't really agree in that regard. And so, yeah. But let me just see what else he has to say about it. I think.
But the bottom line is that immigration is a big deal in Australia, and it's easier to avoid the topic.
Right, okay. To be honest, if this goes straight into my mind, oh my goodness, it does. Okay, let me just stop it there, because like I said, I just don't really understand how that makes a list. Out of everything you could have chosen, that made it onto the list. I mean, maybe that is just a massive cultural shock and I'm just completely numb to it, but hey, I don't know. I mean, I guess I can agree that it isn't the most talked about subject, but like I said, maybe I'm just numb to it, but I feel as though surely that isn't a topic of discussion for everyone of every other country. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I am. Let me know if I am wrong, but I just really don't feel as though out of everything, like I said, you could have chosen that should make this list. It should be like number 60 or 100 or something. Anyway, let me just see what this number 9 has in stock. Look
Number
at
9,
that.
don't take anything
Don't
personally.
take anything
Now,
personally.
Australians
Yes,
always seem
definitely,
to be joking
absolutely.
around,
Yep.
and insults are one of the
Here
ways
we
that they
go.
do that. but don't make the mistake of thinking they mean anything by it. There's a funny saying where you know that an Australian doesn't like you if they don't insult you.
There we go. If someone isn't talking to you or ribbing into you, they're just trying to avoid you and they just don't want to have anything to do with you. If they're actually just poking fun of you and you're actually, I don't know, having a little bit of a banter, then you can actually know that, oh, at least everyone here is being inclusive and everything like that. So I absolutely agree with what he just said. You just have to not take yourself or I guess the other people that are around you too seriously overall. Wait, hang on a second. What did he just say? Let me take it back.
There's a funny saying where you know that an Australian doesn't like you if they don't insult you. Because it means that they actually think there's something wrong with you and that it'll offend you.
Yeah, that'd be fair enough in a way.
So take everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Considering we're surrounded by ocean, there's a lot of salt involved in everything.
Don't be afraid to say hello. Australians have a pretty well-deserved reputation for being laid back. Like I was talking about before with kidding around. Australians have a pretty well-deserved reputation for being laid
this guy knows how to
like I was talking about before with the kidding around. They're good at taking things in stride, which makes it easy as a tourist to make friends.
I feel as though you could virtually walk up to anyone, and if you know what you're doing, you're a little bit skillful about it, you could just become friends with them immediately. If you insult them, kind of not insult them, but insult them in the right way, everyone's just going to be going, oh, okay, you know what to do, and they'll give it straight back to you. And if you can accept that, then you're just, you're off on the right foot straight away.
And talking to people is a must.
Yeah, well, of course, that's like every single culture ever. Surely, if you can talk to people, you should be talking to people. I mean, obviously, language is sometimes a little bit of a barrier there, but in other ways, like if you can do it, you should definitely do it.
Last but not least, number 11.
Last but not least, what is he going to have? How is this? Hey, hang on. What is it? This thing's 11 things not to do in Australia, and then he says enjoy Australia. So hang on a second. What's going on here? Is he saying that we shouldn't, or I guess everyone shouldn't be enjoying Australia?
There's so much to do there.
I feel it's
important to keep in mind that these are all general guidelines and tips that I find out while I was there.
It's kind of a double negative in a way.
And I'm sure you'll have a fantastic time.
I would love to know where that skydiving is. And so I guess that is going to be it for this list. And hey, I guess I can certainly agree with some of the things that he said, and certainly kind of just agree, or at least elaborate on some of the other things that he said. But no, I can understand how some people might be thinking this really the worst one, or just the random one that threw me off was the immigration thing. That just completely threw me off about how they actually made a list like this. But hey, like I said, maybe it is a big thing, and obviously this video is made for foreigners just coming over here, and really once the borders come up, it'll be great for everyone to start just going all over the world again. Obviously, you know, keep it in safety and all those kind of things, but just make sure you can actually just experience cultures from all around the world. It's a great thing to be doing. And really, if nothing else, we've got this incredible harbour bridge, as we can see here. We got the Opera House directly behind us if we were actually just sitting in where we are now, and so there are so many incredible things to see, and really just come and experience it, because then you'll also be able to generate your own list. You know, maybe you agree with this person, maybe you agree with me a little bit more, maybe just disagree with everyone and just gonna go, no, this thing was just very weird, this thing is absolutely insane, whatever it may be. At least you just actually get the cultural experience, and that's a great thing. But anyway, in saying that, I reckon I'm gonna call it there. So thank you for watching this little bit of a different video. If you did enjoy the video, feel free to do the YouTube algorithmic things down below. Also, if this is the first video of mine that you're checking out, maybe you want to check out some of the other reaction videos that I've done in the past, or hey, maybe you even just want to consider subscribing so that you don't miss another one of these in the future. But all in all, have a good one and see ya. Thank you.